There's a right way to play this game, but this series isn't about that. This is my brand new Group Ironman account. The goal is to obtain every Mega Rare from the Chambers of Xeric raid, but the problem is that right now I own just about a bronze axe and nothing else. Oh, and also, I've never even done a raid in RuneScape before, which means I not only have to level up to reach raids, but I also have to learn how to do them. No trading, no grand exchange, no buying my way out of a long grind. Everything will be earned by me and me only. Well, and my two group mates, I guess. There are ironmen and main account guides that tell you exactly what you should be doing at each level to level up your account the fastest, but we aren't going to be following any of that. I'm just going to adventure and explore the game as I see fit and search for enjoyment rather than efficiency. And with that being said, I'm also going to start out as a free-to-play account for the first couple episodes just to get a solid base level of stats and complete a couple quests before becoming members. So for today, my main goal is to do a couple of quests and get a couple of our stats to level 50 so we can start out the account nicely. And before we start, I want to quickly introduce my two group members. In this corner, weighing in at 175 pounds, we have GIM Bavaria. And in this corner, weighing in at 180 pounds, we have GIM Roma. These guys have been my IRL friends for a long time, and we're going to see if we can take on the Chambers of Xeric and get ourselves a twisted bow. Here we are, all starting out on the tutorial island, and it's pretty packed here today. But my name is GIM Athens, and then obviously we have GIM Bavaria and Roma here. We all wanted to go with like different cities around the world just to kind of have a matching name, so we thought that would be cool. And yeah, we'll try to do as much quests and things like that as we can together, but obviously we have our own schedules and stuff, so some of the account progression we'll have to do on our own and then just meet up for the difficult challenges like the raids and things like that. I'm currently racing Bavaria. We're doing like a speed run through the tutorial island right now. Looks like I'm a couple ticks ahead of him, so hopefully we can win. But shortly after I make this massive blunder and this gate won't open right away, so I try to run back to the combat tutor and then it lets me go through it. And Bavaria's already fighting the rat at this point, getting pretty far ahead of me now. Well, it looks like Bavaria wins this one, but it's not over. I will get my revenge. Okay, we just made the group, and we added in one more fun little challenge. We're going to be starting out as hardcore group Ironmen, which means we only have 3 lives. We'll still continue the series after we die, but it'll be a fun challenge to see how far we can make it. And we can kind of get made fun of if we don't make it far. So we'll see. We're going to start out with trading the magic combat tutor to get some free air and mind runes. Every 30 minutes you can do this, so I feel like this will be very useful for us as free-to-play accounts. I'm going to start out with training a few skills in lumberage before we're all ready to do a little bit of questing. I'm going to start with woodcutting and firemaking because that's one of the skills I want to get to level 50 before becoming a member. And besides that, I don't have too many plans. We're just going to kind of go with the flow and level up whatever skills we feel like at the time. A couple of my recordings mysteriously went missing in action, but we've just been hanging out behind the Lumberage General Store here, trying to get to 15 woodcutting and firemaking so we can move to oak trees. And this is pretty much where I start out all of my accounts, is behind this general store, either woodcutting and firemaking or fletching if I'm member. So I guess it's been a super long time since I've trained firemaking because I'm just figuring out about this bonfire thing. I knew that was in RS3, but I just never knew it was a thing in OSRS. And we also got 15 firemaking there, so we can now light oak logs. We still have a few woodcutting levels to go though, because as you know, firemaking always gives you more XP, so if you're training both, your firemaking will always be a couple levels ahead. Since we're all in Lumberage, we decided to do the Cook's Assistant quest together. Now this is a really tough quest, that's why we decided we're going to need all 3 of us for it, but we're able to get it done. No, but in all seriousness, I love the Cook's Assistant. It's a very nostalgic quest, gathering the 3 ingredients and helping the chef out. Plus we'll get a couple early cooking levels, which I'm sure will help us burn less shrimp once we get to that grind. We also decided to complete the Restless Ghost while we're all here in Lumberage. This is another super easy yet super fun and nostalgic quest, so we had a good time doing that, got it done in about 5 minutes, and that gets us up to level 9 prayer. We're just getting 2 more quests out of the way here. First is X Marks the Spot. That's a super easy quest starting in Lumberage, and that's just kind of like an intro to clue scrolls. That one's super easy. And then after that, we're going to do the Witch's Potion quest. I always get the Witch's Potion and the Witch's House quest mixed up. But the Witch's Potion will just get us a couple magic levels early on. I think it's like 300 XP, but might as well get that done right away because there's no requirements for it. I'm also just fighting random monsters along the way, so if you ever see my combat levels go up by 1 or 2 and I didn't put a clip of it, probably just from me hitting some random stuff on my routes. Then we're just doing 2 more quests before going back to skilling. First one is an interesting one. That's Ernest the Chicken. It's about a guy who accidentally drinks a potion at Drainer Manor and it turns him to a chicken, and we have to spend the whole quest trying to get him reversed back into a human. So that one's pretty fun. And then we also did the Sheep Shearer quest, which is just like a standard do a job quest. A guy wants you to shear 20 sheep, spin it into balls of wool, and then turn it in. But now that we got some questing out of the way, I think it's time to go back to woodcutting. Level 14 woodcutting, that's 1 more to go. Oh no, I'm the worst YouTuber ever. I forgot to get the recording for 15 woodcutting, but now we can move on to training firemaking with oak trees until we get willow logs at level 30. I also figured I'm going to buy one of these chronicles while I'm in Drainer, because this is really good for teleporting to Varrock early on, but I realized I don't have enough for the teleport cards, but once we get enough, we'll come back for that. So now we're on to oak trees. We're going to end up banking these so we can just get all the wood cutting done at once, and then eventually we'll move on to firemaking all at once. This is my favorite spot to cut oak trees, at least for free to play. I've always cut them here to the west of the Varrock West Bank. There's 2 trees right here, and then there's a bank maybe just a few steps away. I think if you're a member, it might be slightly better to do it in Sears Village, but honestly this is super easy to get to. This is probably the best spot in my opinion if you're doing some wood cutting early on. We've been having some problems with cash, so we're all getting together right now at the Stronghold of Security, trying to get that first 10k. So we navigated through the Stronghold. We didn't have too much trouble with the 2nd floor, but on the 3rd floor we had some close calls, getting hit 6 and 7s, which is a lot when you only have 10 HP. But we made it through unscathed with 0 casualties, and we're able to get that 10k at the end. Now that we have that 10k, we're going to come right back to Drainer and buy 10 of these Chronicle cards. Going to make it so much easier to get back to Varrock, and I don't know when we're going to train magic, so those will be well worth it, I think. So while I like woodcutting at that spot in Varrock, I decided I wanted to be closer to the magic combat tutor so we can keep collecting runes to train magic later on. So we came back to Lumbridge here for a couple woodcutting levels, but then we decided to go to Drainer since that was right next to a bank. That's a really good spot to cut oaks as well, and then we're not too far from the magic combat tutor. We could come back there every 30 minutes or so to get those runes. So we decided this would be a little bit better of a spot for us than Varrock, but honestly I like both of these spots. I'm going to speed up the next couple of woodcutting levels here. I could show every single level up, but in this episode I want to get a couple stats to level 50, and I don't want to drag it out by showing every one of those levels. And not too long later we are hitting level 30 woodcutting, which means we can move on from oaks up to willow trees. I think that should be an extra couple K XP per hour, so let's go test that out. So I tried cutting these willow trees here in Drainer. This is where I always used to cut them back in the day, but I realized that we're too low of a level and these dark wizards are going to kill us, so that's not an option for us. We're going to have to find a new place to cut willows now. So I did a little bit of research and I actually found out that this willow tree here in Edgeville is the best place to cut them if you're a low level. And it's just one tree here. There's another one across the river, but it's not really worth running to it when the other tree goes down. So it's kind of just a chill spot to AFK. It's just the closest one to a bank that's not infested by dark wizards. So this is kind of our only choice right now. I've seen some other low level accounts woodcutting here, but yeah, I just don't think there's any other willow trees in free to play that are close to a bank. I'm also surprised to see the amount of people just chopping this random willow tree. I was hopping all around. It took me a while to find a world. It's level 40 woodcutting, and I'm doing all of this with a steel axe. I can't think of any way to get a better one in free to play, so we're just going to rock with this for now. It's not too bad, just kind of slow, but oh well. I just got the Evil Bob random event, which is really nice because we plan to train fishing really shortly after woodcutting and firemaking, so that'll give us a nice boost to the early levels, which can be really slow. And finally, after a couple days of pretty chill woodcutting, we hit level 50, which is one of the 4 level 50s we want to get to start out this account, that being woodcutting, firemaking, fishing, and cooking. So we're going to go to firemaking now. That should be really easy now that we have all the logs. Should be able to do that within just a couple hours, and then we can move to fishing and cooking after that. Man, I really love this bonfire update, but I kind of have mixed feelings on the power creep situation in OSRS. Like, I feel like a lot of skilling activities and weapons and armor have gotten really overpowered. bored, but at the same time, it's just a lot more fun and relaxing not to have to click every single log and go in a whole line. Just like a lot better quality of life, I feel like. There is level 30 Firemaking. This honestly only took me like 20 to 30 minutes to do. These low levels are super quick for Firemaking and like no effort as well. Now we can move on to Willow logs, so we should get even more XP per hour. Now if you're one of those people that like to get the most XP possible, then it's better to just light them one at a time in a row. It's going to be faster, but it's going to require a lot more effort. So me personally, I just prefer the relaxed method. That's just how I enjoy playing the game. And I'm a believer that consistency will get you more gains in the long term than just playing too much and getting burnt out. I think being consistent is more important to leveling your account up long term. And RuneScape is a long-term game after all. Quick update, the grind's going pretty well so far. We just hit 40 Firemaking, just watching some baseball while I play, so yeah, it's going good. Just got level 43 Firemaking, so we are halfway to our goal of 50. This is all within the same day. It's going by super quick. Also, I haven't left this area for probably the entire day. I've just been chilling in this bank the whole time. There's probably a closer spot where you can light the log like 1 or 2 tiles away from the bank. This one we have to walk like a couple tiles away, but it's honestly not a big deal for such a short grind. I'm not going to worry about finding the best place to do it at. There it is, level 50 Firemaking with nothing but a steel axe and a dream. All of this done in free-to-play, and it's been really chill grind, honestly. I got everything done from cutting the logs to burning them within just a couple of days. So I really like this method of starting the account out in free-to-play, just to get a nice base level of stats and not have to worry about paying for a membership, and just make sure you're really invested in the account. And this also gives us a level for Wintertot once we become members. And I know it's pretty cliche, but that's probably going to be one of the first things we do. Maybe do a few quests and stuff first, but yeah, that'll be coming pretty early on. We've still got some leftover logs in the bank, so I'll probably just save those for a while until we become members. Probably use them for like fletching or something. Luckily our group members left some fishing bait and feathers in the group storage, so we're going to take that and hopefully they don't mind. But we're still going to need a lot more if we want to get 50 fishing, so that'll just be a start for us, but we're going to have to go to Port Sarim to buy some more after that. We're going to start off training our fishing and cooking at the Lumbridge Swamp. We tried to do it in Drainer, but we ran into the same problem as last time where that dark wizard was attacking us. So we're just going to come here instead. There's usually people lighting fires and stuff, so we should be able to just cook it instead of banking it right away. I just realized there was this range over here by the Lumbridge Graveyard, which is pretty close to that fishing spot. And I also never knew there was a cooking tutor here. He must be somewhat new, because I swear I don't remember him from a long time ago. But yeah, we're just going to cook here instead, because you get a slightly better chance of cooking it over burning it when you do it on a range over a fire. And I'm pretty indecisive because now we decided to walk the fish over to Lumbridge Castle because this is a special range. Once you complete the cook's assistant quest, you get access to it, and it gives you a better chance to successfully cook the fish or whatever food you're cooking than a normal range. And right around the same time we hit level 20 in cooking and fishing. And cooking is similar to firemaking as it gives more XP than fishing. Like firemaking gives more XP than woodcutting, but at the early levels you'll burn a lot of fish, so it kind of stays even. Now that we have level 20, we can do fly fishing and catch trout, which is going to be a lot better XP, so let's go ahead and do that. Before we start fishing trout, we're going to have to stock up on a ton of feathers to get all the way to level 50 fishing. And we probably won't calculate exactly how many we'll need. We'll try to get a little bit extra so we can hand some over to our group once we're done. Yeah, this is already so much faster XP. We are just flying up the levels right now. I was planning to go bank all the fish in Edgeville, but I just figured that would be kind of a waste of time, and I think I'm better off just burning it here because there's always a fire lit right here. It just wastes a lot of time running back and forth between the banks, so I think this is my best bet. I'd like to set a goal for these accounts of reaching the Chambers of Xeric and doing our first raid within 6 months, and that's going to be a pretty big challenge, especially given our laid-back, relaxed playstyle, but I think we'll be able to do it with just consistent gameplay. If we just get a solid base level of stats in the first couple of months, and then we really work on Slayer and our combat for the last couple months, I think we can make it there, but we'll just have to see how it plays out. We got a big milestone level coming in. That is 30 fishing. And that's a huge level because we can catch salmon now, so it should significantly increase both our fishing and cooking XP rates. Another nice thing about starting out with some of these skills in free-to-play is you're not losing too much efficiency. Like, you can't get barbarian fishing until like the high 40s anyway, so getting up to level 50 in free-to-play is really no big deal. I mean, using the steel axe for woodcutting was really the only inconvenience we've had so far, but really it's not been that bad, so I might start out more of my accounts in free-to-play. Decided to cook some of the fish at this house to the west of Edgeville Bank. I figured we're going to need some trout and salmon. We're going to need some sort of food for quests later on, so might as well get it now. Big milestone level coming in, that's 40 fishing. Pretty smooth sailing so far. I'm enjoying this skill a lot. Should only be like maybe 5-6 more hours until level 50 fishing. I'll probably get that at some point tomorrow. I was also looking up some other potential spots that we could catch trout and salmon in free to play, but we're really limited by the options. We only have Barbarian Village and Lumbridge, which kind of surprised me since it's one of the higher level fish in free to play. I thought there would be more options than that. But yeah, Barbarian Village is definitely the best spot, although Lumbridge does have that nostalgic value to it. And in members, I like to catch trout and salmon at Shiloh Village a lot until you unlock the Barbarian fishing later on. I also want to point out this fishing plugin on RuneLite. It's literally just called Fishing, and I had the exact same thing for woodcutting as well. I think it might come installed on the base package of RuneLite, but if you have the game on your other screen, you're just kind of AFKing, you can just take a quick glance at the top left of your screen, and it'll tell you if you're fishing or not, or if maybe if you're AFK and you need to click the screen again. Sometimes you're in a crowded area and it's hard to tell if your character's still fishing, and that's a really easy way to do it. There we go. That is level 50 cooking and fishing after a few days of grinding. That gives us a really solid start to this account. We have a bunch of cooked salmon now that we can use for the early quests and early slayer levels. We have a lot of fishing levels for fishing trawler and temperos and some of the early quest requirements. This gives us a really solid start. Really happy that we got all of this done, and the stats look really nice on the right side of our stat bar there. 4 level 50s in a row. I'm loving the look of that. So looking ahead, I think our next step is going to be training our magic level to unlock some useful teleports around the map. That'll save us a lot of time during quests and while we're training other skills. And then after that, I think I want to train my mining and crafting up. It would be really useful to get some amulets of magic, amulets of strength, games necklace, and ring of dueling once we become members. So I think that's going to be another good thing to start out our account. But that's going to do it for the first episode of our Road to the Chambers of Xeric. Please subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for the next episode. And also drop a like and comment on this video if you enjoyed it. Also check out my channel if you're interested in 2000 Forescape content and other OSRS related content. Thanks for watching everyone, and have a great day.